Good morning guys, Si here. And it's a little bit different today because we're on tour. This is coming live from a one-star hotel in Hounslow. Ooh, we're on the European adventure, people. It's our first ever Europa League Gunner Talk. Last night's game, Arsenal versus Vorskla. Who? Never heard of them before in my life. I'm sure a few of you will lie and say, oh yeah, I knew who they were. But if I'd have asked you a week ago, what's Vorskla? I'm sure most of you would have guessed like me, it's the cheap Polish beer they sell in Aldi. Never heard of them before, didn't know what to expect. I knew they wouldn't be particularly great, and they weren't. Probably even worse than that. So let's run through the lineup anyway last night. A few changes, but we had Leno in net, Litchi at right back, Rob and Socrates at centre back, Nacho at left back, Elneny and Torreira as our sort of deep centre mids, Mickey as the attacking centre mid, and then Welb's out left, he will be out right, and Oba down the middle. So let's just get straight into player ratings. Leno, for me, in the first 5 minutes I saw all I needed to see, which was a ball was played to him with two attackers putting him under pressure, and he just lobbed a nice little 30-yard ball right down the middle of the park to Elneny. And for me, that is the big difference, is that this guy does not panic when he's on the ball. Alright, he let 2 goals in last night, but Czech wouldn't have saved them. Czech and Leno both in net wouldn't have saved them, so I'm not going to hammer him for that because he had nothing to do. Just that when the ball was at his feet, he looked decent as a footballer, and that's what we're going to have to need for this playing out from the back, and that's what he can do and Czech can't. So, no-brainer for me. And it was nice to see him get a few minutes, and hopefully he'll start on Saturday. I doubt it. Sunday, I doubt it, but I'd have liked to have seen it. Litchi, I really rate this guy. I really like him. I mean, he's got to be a shithousing champion back in Switzerland, surely. His experience, the way he makes runs, his intelligence, it's the big selling point for me, him over Hector, is that he just knows where to be, he knows what to do, he's very clever, he doesn't tend to lose the ball much, he doesn't get hammered down his side. Nothing from them came down his side last night. And it was a very impressive performance from me. Alright, it was Vorskla, so we can't get too carried away, but I thought he was quality last night. And for me, he should be a starter, give Hector a bit of a break. And I love that when he's just constantly in the referee's ear, 1, 2, 3 times ref, come on, it's a card now, and he's just always like that, and I'd hate it in an opponent player, but I love it in one of our own, so big fan of this guy. Holding, bit of a passenger for me last night. I can't really comment on him because I don't remember hearing his name or him actually doing anything. Socrates, on the other hand, I thought was close to being man of the match. I was really impressed with him last night. And it was a bit of a funny one for me that he got picked over Mustafi as our experienced centre-back to pair up with one of the younger guys, and for me that says that if Mustafi is fully fit, that, who does Unai trust? It's fairly obvious to me now, and we'll see again in the next Europa League game who he starts as the older centre-back. But for me that says a lot, and it's a little bit worrying for Mustafi for me, because I think he's been decent this year, but Socrates, leader, absolute leader last night. He put in a great shift. He cleaned up well. Even coming out from the back, he looked quite tidy. He lost the ball a couple of times, but he showed that intent. Against teams like that, you've got to do it because you're able to. You can't do it against a Chelsea or a City, but you can do it against a Vorskla. So I was happy with that last night, and I was really impressed with him. Nacho. He just put in the shift, and there was nothing exciting about it. He just did his bit. But for me, again, what problems they caused was all down his side for me, and that's still a concern in our defence. Not being able to keep clean sheets no matter who we're playing, it's really worrying. I mean, they had 2 chances last night and they scored them both. They're both great finishes, not a lot we could have done, but we could have stopped them chances happening. We've got to look to stop this now. Some people will say, well, it doesn't matter, they score 1, we score 2, but that's not a sustainable model. Unless your team's really brilliant and ours isn't, so I'm worried about if that's the route we're going down. Elneny in the middle, he just lacks that quality going forward, doesn't he? But for me, if Torreira's not starting, he has to start for me as a central defensive midfielder. But for me, that's it, nothing else. He wouldn't start otherwise. And I think he's one of our poorest midfielders. Not a lot to say about him last night. He'd be a 6 out of 10. He was all right. Not a lot to talk about. Torreira, on the other hand, brilliant. I thought very lively starting the game. He took a couple of bad knocks, and I was a bit concerned, but it was like last night. He was doing that very simple, just sitting deep, crab football, left, right. You know. And against opposition like that, you need to use your intelligence. And he could have, a lot of the times, he could have looked forward, and then he started to do it, spraying balls over the top. And that's where he's young, and you forget he's only 21, 22. So he's inexperienced, and he'll learn, and he'll learn his craft, and he'll get better, and he's going to be a huge asset to us, this guy. And especially with his dead ball specialism, he's a killer from a set piece, free kicks, corners. It was so nice to just see a proper ball getting whipped in, and near it, in a dangerous area all the time. And I think that's a huge aspect of his game that we can look forward to. That might not have been what you were looking for out of him at first. So, but yeah, really happy with him last night, and just hope he's come through with no niggles. Mickey, I said to you guys, he's someone who'll warm up, and I felt the same again last night. He was blowing so hot and cold. 1 minute he was brilliant, next minute he was giving the ball away. He just looks a bit rusty, but there was glimpses of quality there. We all know he's really good. He just doesn't look 100% for me. So I'd rate him quite highly on last night, seeing as I don't think he's doing it at full tilt. So yeah, he was decent. Welbs. Honestly, guys, it's a good job I didn't do this at half time. I mean, I went to the match last night. Luckily, I'm away working in London for the Fulham game tomorrow, so I had a chance to get over and watch the game last night, which was nice for us to be at home in the Europa. It's just a bit of luck, really. If I'd have done this at half time last night, it'd have just been a Danny Welbeck 7-minute rant. Absolutely disgusting in the first half. He was just the invisible man, and if you're the invisible man against a team like Vorskla, no disrespect to them, you're really going to struggle, and he's just not up to me. Another completely dead-ass performance, and I just don't know any of his fanboys. I mean, one of my mates last night, straight on to me at the game, oh, well, look, see that, he scored, because I was moaning about him. Oh, well, he scored. All right, guys, he did score, and then he nearly did score again, right? Well, that's 90 seconds in a 90-minute match. And the problem is, Yerry can score a goal, but in the 45-minute first half that he didn't turn up, you get away with it against Vorskla. If you're playing with 10 men against Atletico Madrid or whoever else, you're already 3-0 down by the time he gets that goal, and that is the big issue for me. It's all good and well against Vorskla, but you don't win trophies in finals against Vorskla. It's against proper teams, and against proper teams, this guy will not cut the mustard. I don't care what anyone tells me. I'm not gonna badger on about him. You guys know I can't stand him, and he needs to be out of the club. That's it for me. Oba. He was another one, again, he was invisible man in the first half, but one chance, one goal, and that's what his quality is. His finishing was just superb, wasn't it? He's proper, what I like to call strikers, five-a-side finishing, which is just low in the bottom corners, and keepers can't get to those. So I was happy with that. He just needs to start looking like he's interested and getting himself more into the game rather than he just seemed to be sulking a bit last night, and I can't stand that in a player. You've got to, look at how Laka goes about it. He just runs around like a blue ass fly until he gets himself into the game. So he's got to improve on that for me, but you can't moan at his output. 2 chances, 2 goals, very impressive. The main man, didn't think I'd be saying this, Mr. Alexander Iwobi, really impressive for me last night, and he puts himself right at the front of the pecking order in replacements in the first team. Definitely had a Welbeck now, because he's improving, definitely. He looks a bit more mature. Still not an out-and-out winger, so when he gets in that situation down the line, he's still not sure whether he crosses, tries to beat a man, have a dig, and that's the problem for me, not being an out-and-out winger. But I'm not going to knock his performance in the slightest. I thought he was great, he was everywhere, everything. The little bits of quality that we produced, he was part of every single one. And I was more than happy with him last night, really happy. And that's what I think all the fans want to see from him, is just that, like he cares and like he's trying, and he definitely was last night, so I was more than happy with that. The big problem there, though, that first half for me was absolutely pathetic. I felt like, why have I left my hotel to come and watch this crap? I was really gutted. Zero creativity, zero quality. Bar one move, Mickey Iwobi, Oba goal. That was it. That was the only highlight of that first half. And we're playing Vorskla. No disrespect to them, but we've got to start getting better than this, guys. I'm not expecting overnight miracles, but it needs to be happening a bit quicker than it is, because it's just not good, this. And I think the wheels will come off if we keep trying to play like this. But Yep, so second half, 57th minute, Ozil on for Oba, and Torreira off for Guendouzi. Ozil looked fairly lively again when he came on. Nice little finish for his goal. He was always looking deadly when he got in the right positions with the ball at his feet. You know what you expect from Mesut, and I think he's starting to play himself into form. So someone to look forward to seeing over the next few games, next few weeks, next few months, if he can keep it going. The Guendo, when he came on, he's just a nice little cameo from him. We all know what he can do and what he does now, and in them short little blasts in a game, he doesn't tend to give the ball away. It's just that when he's on for a sustained period of time, the little few mistakes through inexperience creep in. So I was happy with his cameo again, and he's been a real asset to the start of this season. I think we'd have struggled without him. I think he's been really important, and that in itself is quite worrying, that we're relying on a French second division 19-year-old, you know, that's hardly any caps, but hey, he's stepping up to the mark, isn't he, the lad? He's definitely swimming. There's no sinking about this kid, so I've been happy with him. And then in the 69th minute, he will be off for Emile Smith-Rowe. Nice to see him get a few minutes. He didn't really get a look in, did he? But what he did okay, and it was just nice for him to get his debut and get a feel for it. And I'm sure, you know, if we manage to qualify early from this group, which we should, and, you know, get 12 points on the board out of the first 4 games, then him, Eddie, these lads, Mavro, they should all be starting these last 2 games for me. But second half, it was a huge improvement. You know, if not impressive. You know, we were under 0 danger, I felt, for an entire game, but then 1 chance and there's no clean sheet again. You know, can't do a lot about it. It was 2 quality finishes, but it's still a huge problem for me, and we really need to start stepping up quick. You know, we've got this run now of 4 home games in a row in the space of 10 days. Everton, next Brentford, Watford. For me, we should be getting 6 points there and progressing in the cup, and anything less than that's not good enough for me. You know, the start of the season, it's early, but we've not beat those teams that are equal to us or better. So what we've got to do now is start beating the teams in and around us, which Everton and Watford are. So for me, these are big games. You know, and 4-2, it'd look better 4-0, but I thought, you know, 4-2, it didn't really matter to me that much. We progress again, we get the points. I would just like to see a clean sheet at some point, but I'm not going to overemphasise that. Let's just keep knocking up 3 points, and we'll worry about that later when it comes to the business end. So that's it from me, guys. My betting blog I'll have to do tonight because I'll be at the game tomorrow dinner time, so I won't be able to do that. So I'll pop that up tomorrow. Hope you've enjoyed our very first Europa League Gunner Talk. Keep getting your comments, your thoughts to me, guys, subjects you want to talk about. So it looks like the sun's shining today, so have a lovely Friday and start to your weekend. Signing out. Take it easy, guys.